There's that famous quote that I think it's attributed always to the wrong person, but I think it's a guy from the CEO from United Biscuits. But he effectively said, our buildings can fall down, we can lose all our trucks and all our assets, but, what we've still got left is our brands. And at one point in 2000, I think Coca-Cola was a company that they had a look at, and 85% of the worth of the company was in the brand.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You can't even verbalize why it's good.
Brands actually live in our hearts and minds. We don't rationally choose brands, right? So 95% of the decisions we make are emotional. We post-rationalize them. So we buy a new car, and you might want a luxury car, you might want whatever car, right? And we buy them. And afterwards, when someone says, "Oh, you bought a Tesla or you bought a
Why'd you get
Audi.
that?
Why'd you get that?" Oh, well, it's the
Let me think about it.
It's the equal wheel balance between them. It's the motor. It's this and that. You post-rationalize why you buy. That's the rational part. But we emotionally buy 95% of the time. There's a huge behavioural science study done by Daniel Kahneman. He won a Nobel Prize for behavioural economics.
And so you're saying the power of Coca-Cola, it's hard to talk about because it's more an emotional thing rather than a logical thing.
Yes.
I go to the store, I see the thing, I'm just going to take that. Why'd you get a Coke? Well, I don't know.
Well, and again, you can post-rationalise it, but at the time you go, I've had it before, I know that feeling, I love it, I'm going to have one.
And so what would you describe as a brand?
It tends to be if you go back to my example with the farmers, it's a brand mark that we first and foremost pick up on. You can put the swoosh up of Nike, and without putting the word Nike underneath, everyone goes, it's Nike. You can put the BMW, just the blue and white, check,
or the Mercedes,
or the Jaguar logo, and people just know that you don't have to explain what the brand is. So it's the brand mark that first and foremost happens, and then we have almost brand assets that go with that, right? Some people will have music that reminds them of the brand. I mean, if McDonald's, it doesn't matter if an orchestra played that, whether a guitar played that, whether someone hummed it like me, whether someone sang it, you would know it's McDonald's. Brands like ING will be orange, and so people have an association with that. It could be a shape of a bottle sometimes. It could be anything. So that's some of the brand recall that we're looking for.
It must be incredibly hard to actually build these amazing brands. A, there's not that many of them compared to how many businesses there are in the world. And B, how do you actually do it? Like, okay, at CUB, we're trying to build a brand. And yes, do a lot of people know it? 100%. Does it create an emotive response to people yet? I don't know, but probably not. Like, maybe it does for the existing members. Does it for the non-member? And how do you even know that stuff?
Yeah. Interestingly, I think the simplest and the best brand theory model in my mind was done by a guy called David Acker, Aker, for those that jump on the Google. And it was in the sort of the mid to late 90s, and he effectively said there's four main pillars of a brand.
So these pillars would be, how do you actually make a strong brand?
Correct, yes. And there's now been studies done over lengths of time by people who, based on these pillars, WPP, for example, have got one called Brand Asset Valuator. They basically utilised and worked with him at the time to build out the study of actually then tracking how brands were performing on these pillars.